Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to week number 3 in March. I have to tell you, I was down in my studio and I cleaned it out, and boy did I find a lot of stuff I thought I lost. So it's really important that you make sure you clean up after yourself, because you never know what you're gonna find. And look what I found in a store, thrift store, another really cool cup. So this one has all superheroes on it, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm also enjoying seeing your creations that you're making. Week 2 was awesome in art. You guys took your Roblox characters and your Minecraft spaces and you turned them into things I never would have dreamed of. So today, in keeping with our gaming theme, I'd like to show you how to make a little avatar of an animal. Now we know that there's pigs and cows and stuff like that in certain games, but this can really be used for anything. So all you need is a piece of paper, and I'm just going to use purple because it's easy to see on the camera. You'll need some glue, and I'm going to use my favorite glue. And you'll need some scissors, okay? So let's get started, and I'll show you what to do. So I'm basically going to build this very similar to the Roblox character. Now, if you were working on a Minecraft space last week, I have it down here, then you can certainly continue to work on this, but I want to show the boys and girls who finished up their character and took it home sort of another project using tubes and rectangles, okay? So I'm going to grab my glue, and again, I think most of you probably use a glue stick, so let me get this glue working. Oop, there we go. And I'm going to run glue across the really tall direction. I'm going to glue it vertically. Okay? Then take your piece of paper and you're going to roll it and just stick it down. So when you're done, you have a really long tube. Make sure it's even, by the way. A lot of you guys, I noticed, were rolling it and you were a little crooked. And that kind of made the guy look a little crooked, or the girl, right? Okay, so once you have a tube like that, you're going to make a rectangle. And you all remember this. You press it down. And then you turn it up on its side and press it down in the other direction. There we go. Okay. So now I have a rectangle. Now what you want to do is this is going to create the animal's feet. So most animals have 4 feet because they walk on all 4s. So we're going to divide this into 4 sections. So here's what you need to do. You can be really exact and flatten this. Ooh, let me move you down. And you're going to fold it in half like that. Okay. And then cut on that line. Now you have 2 legs, right? But we need 4. So what you're going to do is after you do that, fold these 2 in half. So here's 1. Here's 2. And then cut on those lines. And then just fluff them up to make the rectangles again. Let's see if I do this. Ooh, a little crooked. Okay. So there's one little leg. Here's another little leg. Here is another little leg. And another little leg. So by using that folding trick to measure, you can see they're about the same size. All right, we're gonna move these off to the side for now because now we wanna work on the body and the head, okay? And for that, you'll need another piece of paper. And what I want you to do is this time, put the glue horizontal. So again, when I created this project, you notice it's very similar to the other character, the human, right? Or the human-like character, I should say. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of glue. And I'm gonna roll it up. And again, the trick is, boys and girls, make sure that the end of the paper touches the end. Don't roll this up like that. You'll have a skinny tube. We don't want that. We want a nice chubby tube. There. See how that makes a nice chubby tube when you connect end to end? Okay? And now, you're going to create a rectangle. So press it down, turn it up, and press it down the other direction. There. And now you have a much bigger box. Do you see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and I'm not going to cut it exactly in half. I'm going to kind of leave, you know, I'm going to go maybe a quarter of the way down, okay? Now I'm going to use my eyeball for this, but again, if you really wanted, you can measure, but I think you guys, as you sculpt, can figure out what animal you're making and how big to make it. Okay, so like that, you now created the parts for the animal. So here we have a head, here we have body, and here we are going to bring back the 4 feet, and let's put it together. So the head is going to get glued to the front like that. Okay, now I want to show you something, because we're not putting the pieces inside or on or next to like that, like the human. So we got to think of another way around it. So let me show you how to do it. Okay, so let's say I want to connect the head to the front of the body. Well, that's going to be kind of hard to do because there's nothing to anchor it to. So if you take your body and on the top, you just make a little snip on each corner with your scissor, and I'll show it to you in a second. Don't go too far down, and you want to keep the snips all the same size. Oops. See, I just kind of cut the box on the top. There's a good way to show you. Okay? I can flip these down or in, depending on how yours is working out. And you see what happened? I now created a flat surface that I can just easily attach that to. So if I take this, okay, that's a great view, by the way, you can really see what I did. And if I just run a little bit of glue here, 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 and here on the outside like that, I can then take my animal body, or head, excuse me, and stick it on to the tabs, and sometimes you only need 1 or 2 tabs. Oh, that's great. And you see how those tabs are hanging off? So I'm just gonna bend them over, and this one I can just tuck in. Just get rid of them when you're done, and you can even cut them off. You gotta hold it for a minute. Glue just doesn't stick right away, right? But there. See how I got the head to connect to the body? And now I'm gonna do the same thing with the feet. So I can just make little snips like this. I can bend them out or bend them in. This time I'm gonna bend them in, and I'll show you what that does. See how this time I bent them in, and they just kind of, you know, fluff them so they become a flat surface. Then take your glue, and if you notice, I don't go crazy with my glue. I only put a little bit. It's so much better. And now I'm gonna connect 1 foot, and this is gonna take a little bit of time to dry. Right? You have to, you can take something just to kind of poke it down. Okay, so there's 1 foot, and I'm gonna put the other 3 on, and I'll show you. What I did was I glued the tops, you can see what I did, and I'm ready to put them on. See, he can just plop on. But I think what I'm gonna do is, just to add a little more support, is I'm just gonna put a little glue in between the feet. Okay, so boys and girls, you can see I put the legs onto my character, and I love that his head is tilted a little bit. It makes it look like he's looking down at something in the video game. But I think he looks pretty good, and I think his feet are a little too big, but I can go back and just trim that down if I need to. Or what I should have done was maybe measured his body and made it a little bit wider. Okay, so sometimes in art, it's trial and error. You might have to go back and adjust or fix, but I'm happy with how he looks. I think he looks okay. So for today, start constructing your body, and next week we will finish them up. So start thinking about little accessories like tails or ears or anything that's going to make your character stand out. All right? So have fun, boys and girls, and I'll see you next week. Bye.